Hey Andrew,
Good evening.
how are you?
I'm well. How about yourselves?
Good. Hi, Juana.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Andrew,
Going.
I I wanted to ask you if I could be dismissed after class, maybe after I get my pranayama.
Dismissed? You mean you need to leave class early today? Oh
Yes.
yeah, sure. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I didn't get any texts from anyone today. So I don't know if you'd just like to go ahead and guide the pranayama, and I'll give you some language feedback afterwards. Would that work?
Sure, Andrew, I had a hard time getting in tonight. I had to try like 3 or 4 times. So maybe they're having a hard time.
So I only just opened the room about 2 minutes ago. So my
Oh,
guess is that I just simply hadn't started the meeting yet.
okay.
All right.
All right.
Great. I know that Vicky can't make it tonight for some reason, and that if Joanna joins, it'll be a little bit later because I think she'll be finishing her course off. So yeah, why don't we just go ahead and get started? Juliana, would you like to start? I'll give you your feedback directly after you teach, and then we'll move on to Diane.
Okay, that
Okay.
works.
Perfect.
So I pretty much copied yours. I just changed a little bit of around.
Mm-hmm.
So just a heads up.
No worries. Whatever works.
Okay. Vamos a empezar sentados en una postura con las piernas cruzadas. Sacamos los glúteos y traemos las palmas sobre las rodillas. Traemos los hombros hacia arriba, atrás y abajo. Y otra vez, inhalamos, traemos los hombros hacia arriba, hacia atrás y hacia abajo. ¿Ok? Ahora vamos a practicar una práctica de pranayama que se llama Nadi Shodhana, Anuloma Viloma. Anuloma Viloma es una respiración que conecta nuestra mente con nuestras fosas nasales y también con nuestro sistema nervioso. So, respiras. So, en esta práctica, respiras por una y otra fosa nasal y te ayuda a buscar un poco de equilibrio. Y se encuentra equilibrio también en el nervioso simpático y parasimpático. Con esta práctica te calma y al mismo tiempo te hace salir con un poco más energía. Okay? So, primero voy a demostrar y luego vamos a practicar juntos. ¿Ok? Si puedo llevar tu atención. Por esta técnica voy a elevar mi mano derecha y voy a tirarme los dedos índice y corazón hacia la palma en Vishnu Mudra. Por muchos, esto no es tan cómodo, so podemos traer esos dedos hacia el tercer ojo. Y vamos a utilizar el dedo pulgar y el dedo muñeca y anular. Sorry. Ok, so vamos a ayudar esos dedos para cerrar los fosas nasales. El pulgar por un lado, el lado derecho, y el dedo meñique y anular para el lado izquierdo. Ok, so voy a demostrar y empezar con el lado derecho. Ok, voy a traer el dedo sorry all.
No, that's okay. You're doing really, really well. Just think,
Okay.
primero, empezamos. Cerramos el lado izquierdo. You don't even need to say with which fingers. Cerramos el lado izquierdo, inhalamos por el lado derecho. Okay, carry on.
Ok, so traemos la mano sobre el cerramos el lado izquierdo y inhalamos por el lado derecho. Tapas el lado derecho y pasas por 3, 2, 1 y exhalas por el lado izquierdo. Inhalamos por el lado izquierdo. Tapas este lado, te quedas aquí por 3, 2, 1 y exhala por el lado derecho. ¿Ok? So, aquí vamos a hacerlo juntos. So, si todos están listos, vamos a empezar con la mano derecha y vamos a empezar con el lado derecho también. So, cerramos el lado izquierdo y inhalamos profundamente por el lado derecho. Pasa aquí por 3, 2, 1. Exhala, tapa el lado derecho y respira por el lado izquierdo. Inhalamos por el lado izquierdo. Paz, cierra este lado por 3, 2, 1. Exhala por el lado derecho. Inhalamos por 3, 2, 1. Paz, cierra este lado y exhalamos por el otro lado. Repetimos aquí. Inhalamos, pasamos y contar por 3, 2, 1 y exhalamos por el otro lado. Sigue practicando a tu propio ritmo, con tu propia respiración. Inhalamos por el derecho y exhalamos por el izquierdo. Mantenemos la mente muy calmada y relajada. Y respiramos con mucha tranquilidad, sin fuerza la respiración. Mientras que respiras, puedes empezar a visualizar el aire que entre por tus fosas nasales como energía de luz entrando en tu alma. Exhalamos, respira. Estás limpiando tu cuerpo. Inhalamos. Paz. Y exhalamos. Hacemos una ronda más. Inhalamos a cualquier lado estás. Paz por 3, 2, 1. Tapa ese lado y exhala por el otro lado. Cuando están listas, pueden bajar las manos hacia las rodillas. Mantienen los ojitos cerrados aquí. Y llevamos este tiempo a notar cómo te sientes en este momento. Nota si sientes una diferencia en tu cuerpo o en tu mente. a lo mejor en tus emociones. Ahora sí podemos juntar las palmas y frotarlas para ganar un poco de calor. Acercamos las palmas hacia los ojos. Notamos la sensación de calor con nuestras palmas. Exhalamos, abrimos los ojos y traemos las palmas en el tercer ojo. La luz, compasión y amor adentro de mí honra y reconoce la luz, compasión y el amor dentro de ti. Namaste.
Namaste.
That was really
Well done.
fun.
Woo! I started off really nervous and my nerves were just getting the best of me, but then I just stopped reading and I had it in my head.
You have
I
such a
think
beautiful, natural accent. Sorry, Andrew. I'm such a teacher. I just wanted to tell her that I thought it sounded beautiful.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you. That means a lot.
Yes, and I think that, as always, you know, it's something I've said to you a couple of times now, when you just kind of let it flow, it comes out really, really well. So, yeah, you've just got to take the first few minutes. When I guide meditation sometimes, maybe I'm not feeling very centered, I just take the first few minutes, like the first 30 seconds to a minute, just in silence and just breathe by myself, you know, and you get everybody just to breathe with you, and then you're good. Like you can start people off. I really love the little details that you put in there, such as la luz entrando en tu alma. I like the ending that you had there. So there were some really nice little touches that you sprinkled into that meditation. So well done. Remember that if you're dealing with a group of people at the end, it's la luz divina en mí, reconoce y honra la luz divina en cada uno y en cada una de ustedes, because there's more than one. If it's de ti, it would just be for a single person.
Okay, how was that? Cada de uno?
So, en cada uno y en cada una de ustedes.
Cada uno de ustedes. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, so the word for balance is equilibrio. If you think of the word in English, equilibrium, it's the same, basically. So can you say that with me? Equilibrio.
Equilibrium.
You've got it. Equilibrio. That's the one.
Equilibrium.
Now, when you want to say to bring the fingers towards the palm, what's the verb for to bring?
Traemos.
Traer, that's right. So I think you said tirarme, but it's traer. Traer los dedos índice y corazón a la palma.
Okay.
Good. I noticed that you said so a few times there. So the Spanish equivalent would be entonces or something like that. It depends on where you come from. I don't know. Maybe there are parts of Latin America where they use the word so. It wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not really sure. Here in Colombia, they don't anyway.
I just need to get rid of that period and not say so.
You say este in Colombia? Este, like that.
In what context?
For so. Este.
Not in my knowledge, no.
Okay. People, it might be, I never know where things come from because I work with so many people from so many different parts of Latin America, but that must be a Mexico thing.
So quite often, I mean, here in Colombia, it's bueno pues. They love the word pues, P-U-E-S. Yeah.
I hear pues a lot too, but do you hear este, Juliana, in your family?
Oh yeah, we use este all the time. We have our own language
Could you
compared
give me
to other Latinos. I'm sorry?
Could you give me an example sentence?
Of our funny language.
No, of like how you would use este in this context. I'm curious.
Este chico está loco.
In that context, if we're using it demonstratively to say this or that, then yeah, of course, they use it all the time here in Colombia. But they don't use it as like a punctuation for a sentence.
And I'm thinking a different way.
Diane, I know what you mean, like kind of like when you have a brain freeze.
Yeah.
You use it like este, like when you're trying to remember something.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that does get used.
Here they say entonces, pues, and they kind of get abbreviated down to something that sounds a little bit like there's. So yeah, curiosities of the language here. Okay, right. Remember not to mix up pas and pausa. So when you're closing both sides, pausa or pausamos. Yeah.
Pausamos, pausa.
And just as a general stylistic thing, I would recommend only repeat the instructions for a maximum of 2 rounds, and then just let people get on with it at their own rhythm. I think people find it easier to follow their own breath at that point. And instead of it sounds a little bit odd to kind of jump in at the end and suddenly kind of guide the last round as well. So in that context, I would just say, terminamos tu ronda y bajas o bajamos las palmas a las rodillas.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, good, well done. Okay, so if you need to shoot off now, by all means, you can head off.
Okay, I'll stay for the girls' classes.
Perfect. All right. So, Diane, would you like to continue?
Sure, and you'll find this very familiar because I have not done this in English, so it will seem a lot like yours. All right. But I won't have the beautiful natural accent that Juliana does, so I'm just a wannabe accent. Busca un asiento cómodo con las piernas cruzadas encima de una manta doblada. Rota los isquiones hacia atrás. Alarga la columna. Llevas los hombros hacia arriba, hacia abajo, hacia atrás. Maybe that's the wrong order. Vas a participar en una práctica de pranayama, se llama Nadi Shodhana. Es una técnica de respiración. Hay una conexión entre el cerebro, las fosas nasales y el sistema nervioso. Nadi Shodhana es una manera de ayudarte a equilibrar los hemisferios del cerebro y purificarlos. Cuando respiras por una fosa nasal, vas a calmarte y también darte energía. Si estás constipado o constipada o tienes un resfriado, mejor que evites esta práctica hoy día. Primero, voy a demostrar cómo hacerlo y luego vamos a hacerlo juntos. Mantén los labios cerrados. Ustedes van a respirar por la nariz. Voy a llevar la mano derecha y juntar los dedos índice y dedo corazón. Vas a descansar estos dedos en el entrecejo. Usarás los dedos anular y el meñique y el pulgar para tapar y abrir las fosas nasales. Comienza con el lado derecho. Tapa la fosa nasal izquierda y por el lado derecho. Pausa y tapa el lado derecho. Pausa el lado derecho. Cuentas a 3. 1, 2, 3. Después de decir 3, abre el lado izquierdo y exhala. Inhalo por el lado izquierdo. Cierre, pausa. 1, 2, 3. Abre el lado derecho y exhala. Esto es una ronda. Vamos a hacer varias rondas alternando las fosas nasales. Ustedes van a inhalar por un lado y van a exhalar por el otro lado. Y luego inhalas por el otro. Y exhalas por el primero. Ok, vamos a comenzar. Inhala por el lado. Bueno, dedos listos en la frente y tapas el lado izquierdo con el anular y el meñique. Inhala. Inhala por la fosa nasal derecha. Inhala. Okay, now I have to. Okay. Tapa la fosa nasal derecho. Cuentas a 3. Abre la fosa nasal izquierdo. Exhala. Inhala al lado izquierdo. Tapa. Abre al lado derecho. Exhala. Inhala por el lado derecho. Tapa. Abre y exhala por el lado izquierdo. Sigue practicando a tu propio ritmo con tu propia respiración. Mantén la mente muy calmada y relajada sin forzar la respiración. Si quieres, puedes visualizar que estás inhalando una luz brillante y estás exhalando energía negativa. Ustedes están limpiando los cuerpos. Hagan una ronda más. Cuando termines, baja las manos en las rodillas y mantén los ojos cerrados. Y lleva la atención adentro. Observa cómo te sientes. ¿Cómo siente la mente y el cuerpo en este momento? Deja llenar todo tu ser con una paz tranquila. Trae las palmas al pecho y frótalas para crear calor. Luego tapa los ojos con las palmas. Notas la calentura de la energía de las manos. Trae las manos en la posición de Anjali Mudra y ligeramente toca el entrecejo. Inclina hacia adelante. La maestra en mí honra el maestro en ustedes. Paz, paz, paz. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Oh no.
Why do you say, oh no, Diane?
Because when I teach, everything is ustedes. And I wrote this in the tú form, and I was switching between ustedes and tú. So I think, would it be weird to just stick with, because we don't have a tú familiar. So can I just stick with the ustedes form? Because that's when I'm talking to a group of people, kids or adults, that's what I do.
I think that you should stick with whatever you feel most comfortable with to begin with, because what you should be prioritizing for now is the fluidity and the ease of speaking. As you kind of get more confident and get more comfortable, you can maybe experiment a little bit more with the tú form. The nice thing about the tú form is that it's direct and personal, and that's a good thing for a yoga class, generally speaking. But as I say, if you feel that it would just help it kind of things flow a little bit more naturally to begin with, by all means, use the ustedes form.
Okay, and that's what I use a lot of. Well, I use a lot of tú commands as a teacher, unfortunately, kind of a lot. And I use a lot of ustedes commands as a teacher. So if that's not weird to be commanding people around in yoga, that is probably what would feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're speaking to a group, there's no problem with using the ustedes form. Obviously, when you come to give people individual pointers and tips, then you need to obviously use the tú form there. But I mean, I think you will feel very at home in a yoga environment, given that you teach in a classroom already. And I think that your Spanish will come out. It's very tough to guide in front of a computer. You know, I know that for a fact. And I think that you'll find it will just flow. I mean, having said that, I think that the Spanish that you're producing is really excellent. I particularly love the subjunctives that you're using. You obviously have a very good technical command of the grammar as well, so I think you're to be really commended on that. But well done. A couple of very small points. First of all, when you're rolling the shoulders, it's best to say los hombros hacia arriba, atrás y abajo, as opposed to arriba, abajo y atrás. Because it makes that circular shape. Yeah?
Right. Arriba, abajo, atrás.
Arriba, right? Atrás y abajo.
Atrás, sí.
Up, back, and down.
Okay. Abajo. All right.
Yeah. And you can even say, rotamos los hombros hacia arriba, atrás y abajo, juntando omóplatos, or conectando omóplatos, if you want it to be just a little bit more specific. Now, as a small point of view, so when you are talking about the benefits of this exercise, it's nice to talk about la purificación, because this is meant to be a purifying exercise, but it's meant to be purifying on an energetic level, okay? So it's purifying what we call the nadis, which are your energy channels. Think of them like blood vessels, but for energy, and they move all around the body. There's something like, is it 82,000 nadis that run through the body, I think, or something? But we focus on just a select few generally in our practice. And so it would be incorrect to say purificar los hemisferios del cerebro, because it's not meant to be like a detox on a physical level, as so much as a detox on an energetic level.
Okay.
So that's the idea with a lot of energy work. I mean, especially things like Thai massage, is that they're trying to identify energy blockages in the nadis and remove those blockages so that there can be free flow of energy, and so that there's no stagnation and sickness created by. I mean, that's the idea of energetic healing. In terms of detox on a physical level, I don't think we talk so much about that with pranayama. That's more the physical asana practice. Yeah? The final thing that I would comment is that you need to be a little bit more efficient when you start guiding people together, when they're practicing with you. Because that first round of breath was extremely drawn out, right? And if people are going to abandon breathing with you on the first breath, that's somewhat problematic. So by all means, use as much language as you need when you're explaining the technique, but really can cut your language down to the bare minimum. You know, okay, empezamos. Colocamos la mano en Vishnu Mudra o descansamos la mano en la frente. Cerramos el lado izquierdo, inhalamos por el derecho. Cerramos, pausamos, abrimos el lado opuesto e exhalamos. Inhalamos por este mismo lado, cerramos, pausamos, abrimos el primer lado y exhalamos. Does that make sense?
It does. I think I would have done better not reading at that point, just concentrating on my own hands and just speaking. But yes, I need to force some people to do this with me, even though they don't understand Spanish, that are live people. So.
Sure. But no, I mean, in all, I think it worked very well. It worked very nicely. The instructions are very clear, very easy to follow. So congratulations. Okay. Catherine.
Sure. Also, Diane, I just want to say, this takes a while in English to figure out the rhythm of how to teach this.
Which I totally don't have.
Yeah, it takes a while. It's a lot of words in a short amount of time, and like it takes a long time to teach pranayama.
It is one of the most challenging pranayamas, I think, initially to guide, because there's just so much going on. But that's the reason that I gave it to you for this homework, because I wanted to challenge you all a little bit. So, and I think you're all handling it very well.
Well, I maybe went for something less challenging, and I am going to do a different pranayama.
Sure.
So we'll see how this goes, and if we can follow along. Okay. So buscamos una posición cómoda en la colchoneta. Cruzamos las piernas y alargamos la columna. Nos enraizamos en la tierra y respiramos suave y lentamente. Vamos a practicar pranayama. Pranayama es una práctica de la respiración que nos ayuda a conectar con el presente. Hoy hacemos una técnica del abdomen. Con esta técnica, vamos a activar el sistema nervioso parasimpático para relajarnos el cuerpo y el mente y para soltarnos los estreses. Primero, voy a demostrar el ejercicio y siguiente practicamos juntos. Colocamos 2 manos en el abdomen o una mano en el abdomen y una mano en el corazón. Una mano en el corazón, la corazón. Inhalamos por la nariz y expandamos el abdomen con la respiración. Contamos a 3. 1, 2, 3. Y exhalamos por la nariz por 5 respiraciones. Sí, sentimos el aire saliendo del abdomen. Entonces, vamos a practicar juntos y nos repetimos. Quizás cerramos los ojos o miramos en un triste hacia el frente. Entonces, colocamos las manos en el abdomen o el corazón y el abdomen. Y inhalamos por la nariz. Expandemos el abdomen y el pecho por 1, 2, 3. Y exhalamos por 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhalamos por la nariz, nos expandemos y exhalamos, nos contamos a 5 respiraciones. Vamos a hacer 5 rondas con tu propia respiración. Respiramos suave y lentamente y disfrutamos la liberación con cada exhalación. Observamos cómo se siente con la exhalación más larga de la inhalación. Continuamos y con cada inhalación sentimos una emoción positiva y con cada exhalación podemos soltar algo que no sirvió. Muy bien. Y una ronda más. Y volvemos a respiración naturalmente. Abrimos los ojos y notamos cualquier diferencia en nuestro cuerpo y mente y alma. Gracias.
Very
Thank you
nice.
so much.
Did you
Soothing.
follow along?
Totally.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Great. I love deep belly breathing, and I also don't know how to many words for belly besides abdomen. So that feels like an area of improvement because it's such a harsh word to say abdomen all the time.
I would say panza. Can we say panza? We've talked about panza before.
Why not? Your panza is kind of your belly. La panza, yeah, why not?
Sometimes I don't know if things are too informal.
I mean, it's a bit more informal, but it's fine. I mean, here they would probably even say tu pancita, because they're all kind of cutesy and they use the diminutive form and so on. Yeah, I thought that was a lovely exercise, and I think it's a really good one to guide as well because it's not too overly technical. So you can kind of take your time explaining things, and then just kind of leave people to get on with it and use some nice visual metaphors as well, which you did, I think. So well done. And I think that you sound very confident with your Spanish, which is lovely. I mean, it's nice to hear just this kind of sense of ease with the language. And so, yeah, well done for that.
Yeah, it's flying for that, so it must be.
So a couple of small things. First of all, the pronunciation of el sistema nervioso parasimpático.
That's hard.
So let's say it together. El sistema nervioso parasimpático. You've got it.
That's
Yeah, so
wrong.
just go through those words carefully, because you can obviously pronounce them well, but I think sometimes when you're kind of running through them, you can sort of trip up a little bit.
Good.
Now, when you want to say afterwards, or then, or next, right? The word that you used was siguiente, okay? Now, siguiente is an adjective. So it's something that you would use to describe a noun. El siguiente paso es, the next step is to. But when you're talking about what you're going to do next, you need to use an adverb, okay? And siguiente is not an adverb. So you need to say después, or luego, or entonces.
Oh, how totally useful.
Good. Yeah. So, yeah. Then there's just a couple of things that I wanted to say which occurred to me stylistically. And I think it's really nice in this exercise to talk about el diafragma, yeah, your diaphragm. So when you're talking about this exercise, you can say, y en este ejercicio estamos utilizando todo el pulmón. El diafragma se mueve hacia abajo y el abdomen se expande, ¿ya? Y eso nos da un poquito más espacio para respirar un poquito más profundo. Y hay una conexión, existe una conexión entre la respiración diafragmática y el sistema nervioso parasimpático, y es un ejercicio muy calmante. Entonces quiero que sienten una actitud de calma, de paz. I'm just kind of speaking off the top of my head here, but something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I think I didn't feel confident. You could talk about this all day, right? About what it does for you. And what's nice is like you can have time to talk because it's not that hard to do on your own.
Yeah.
You need to make some of those phrases. What would you call this in Spanish? Like, I call it deep belly breathing. I don't know that there's like a Sanskrit name for it. Like, is there a phrase that this has?
No, I don't think so. As far as I'm aware, I haven't come across any Sanskrit terms for that. But I mean, they would call it la respiración diafragmática or la respiración abdominal.
Okay.
I think that would work. Good.
Thank you for letting me do something different.
And I don't know if I missed it, but I think I would just take a little more time to explain that the exhalation is a little bit more extended. I would say something along the lines of, vamos a inhalar normalmente contando a 3 y la exhalación está un poco más extendida, está un poco más larga. Vamos a exhalar y contar a 5, for example.
Yeah, I tried to do it in my example and then like mention it later, but I think it's better to be up front because that's all magic. Yeah.
Because otherwise it kind of takes you by surprise and you're expecting to breathe out for the same amount and you might have already run out of air by that point. Yeah. 2 last little things. First of all, when you're saying contar, contamos a 4, contamos a 5, you don't need to make it reflexive. It's not nos contamos, yeah? To count is just, it's an intransitive verb. You don't need an object necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah. The final thing is, volvemos a respiración naturalmente. You need a verb there. So instead of using the word respiración, which is a noun, volvemos a respirar naturalmente.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Okay. So, I mean, as in English, I think pranayama is one of the most challenging things to teach in Spanish. So keep practicing. Find some víctimas to practice on, whether they speak good Spanish or not. And yeah, just keep at it.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to present a little bit about meditation now. So let me share this screen.
Andrew, I'm going to go ahead and
Sure.
be dismissed, if that's okay.
Of course.
All right, everybody, have a good rest of your class. I look forward to watching the rest of the video later.
Thanks so much, Vienna. Have a lovely evening.
Namaste.
If you just excuse me for one moment, I'm going to get a glass of water. I've got a slightly dry throat. I'll be right back.
I am going to turn off my fan because it's getting cold now.
Oh no.
Well, not cold. That's an exaggeration. It's raining.
Necesito agua.
Okay, I took the opportunity to cover my rice also.
Is that a like a back patio, Diane? It looks so pretty.
I am on my porch. It's a 4-season porch because it has baseboard heating, and it's I love it. It's our favorite part of our house.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, you look like you have a beautiful porch or something with a lot of windows there.
Yes, I am. I'm in like a top floor kind of enclosed porch that I've made my like workout zen den where I have like all my stuff.
I love it. Where are you again? I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm on Long Island.
Oh, that's right. Oh, Long Island. My son almost went there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I go back to San Francisco next week, so I'll see how it is.
Okay. So, meditation. This is another reasonably challenging thing to guide. So, what I aim to do today is to show you a couple of different techniques that you can use to make simple meditations in Spanish. If we have time, we'll do a little bit of a review of the vocabulary that might help us in meditation. And then I'm going to send you off to construct your own meditations. All right? So, oops. Let's see. Okay, so this is the meditation language that you have on your handout. So this is really, when it comes in English to making a simple meditation, my aim is basically to develop a sense of awareness. Okay, most people when they come into class, they tend to be tied up in whatever's going on in their lives, whatever kind of relationships or work or traffic. So what I find has been particularly useful when it comes to guiding meditation is to just get people to settle and calm down in the first part of the meditation. Yeah. And what I found particularly useful to help me do that is just to get people to pay attention to the different elements of the environment around them. Yeah. So you're starting off just by closing your eyes. That's a big step. It's a big change. If you think about how we interact with the world around us, today it's 90% visual, right? We're constantly looking around us. We're looking at screens. We're looking at our phone. We're communicating visually through writing a lot of the time, through messages. So by actually closing the eyes, the only other time that we really do that is when we're asleep. So it's already made this enormous change. And if you can get people to close their eyes, what they're immediately going to experience is that the thoughts that are going on in their head are going to be amplified because they've taken away the visual stimulus or the visual stimuli. And so the rest of what's kind of going on in their heads is going to sound a lot louder. And so a lot of people find it very uncomfortable just to close their eyes and sit quietly because they feel like they're just going crazy with all of the stuff that's going on in their head. And that's because we do live in this hyper-accelerated world, which is not something we've evolved to deal with, really. I mean, the pace of life in the last 100 years has just accelerated tenfold. And so people need something to focus their attention on to calm themselves down. So what I've made here is a short list of things that people can begin to pay attention to. But you need to give people time for each of these elements. You can't say to people, okay, let's pause, let's close our eyes and breathe. Okay, now observe sounds, observe smells, observe physical sensations, observe, I mean, that's too fast, yeah? People won't have time and it'll just stress them out even more than they're already stressed out. So give people time. Okay. So I'm going to get people to sit comfortably. Nos sentamos en una postura cómoda, sacamos los glúteos, alargamos los costados del cuerpo, rotamos los hombros, cerramos los ojos. Ok. Tomamos unas respiraciones lentas y profundas. Pausamos. Observamos nuestro entorno. What's an entorno? Yeah?
Your environment or wherever you are.
Yeah, your surroundings. That's right. So your entorno is your surroundings. So then I'm going to say, notamos los olores. And again, you can expand on that wherever you are. So, you know, in the studio, you might have some essential oils going. So, el olor del aceite de lavanda, calmante y relajante, for example. Los sonidos. And then again, you can expand on that. Los sonidos de la naturaleza, el canto de los pájaros, los perritos en la calle. ¿Ya? El sonido del tráfico en la calle, los carros. Los sonidos de los seres humanos fuera del estudio. So you can, again, on all of these areas, you can expand a little bit. La temperatura del aire y la brisa, the breeze. La calidad de la luz, so the quality of light. And again, so sometimes in English they say, even though you've got your eyes closed, you can still sense the quality of the light, if it's sunny, if it's cloudy. Yeah? And finally, la tierra debajo de ti. Yeah? So once I've dealt with that first part of the meditation, people are generally a bit more calm at that point. And at that point, I can begin to deal with what's called pratyahara. Do you remember, Catherine, what pratyahara is?
No,
from your 8 steps of yoga?
Is it part of the 8 limbs?
It is part of the 8 limbs, yeah.
I forget that one.
So, pratyahara is the important 5th step when we start to bring the attention from external factors within. So it's focusing the attention within.
Was that the meditation one?
What's that, sorry, Diane?
Is that the meditation limb?
Well, this is something that would take a little bit longer than 30 seconds to explain. But basically, the 8 limbs move from morals and ethics, which are the yamas and niyamas, through to asana, through to pranayama. And then basically from pranayama onwards, you just kind of go further within. So pratyahara is focusing the attention within. Dharana and dhyana are concentration and meditation. So basically deepening states of entering into meditation. And then samadhi is liberation, deep realization, recognition, understanding, freedom, lots of different ways of talking about that. But even samadhi has plenty of different levels in it as well. So anyway, that's the subject for another day.
My teacher training, maybe.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, most teacher training should hopefully deal with that. Good. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to say, llevamos nuestra atención adentro. Y notamos las sensaciones en nuestro cuerpo. los dolores, las partes cómodas e incómodas, el ritmo y los latidos del corazón, la respiración o la expansión de los pulmones y del abdomen, las emociones presentes en nuestro corazón y la calidad de nuestra mente, si está agitada o calmada, ocupada o tranquila. And as always, it's best to avoid in your meditation talking about the contents of people's thoughts, and it's best to avoid telling people to stop thinking, because that's not going to happen. Yeah, brains just don't work that way, unfortunately. So the best way is to say, again, you can use your phrases here like, mantente conectado con la respiración, y si tu mente se desvía, regresa con mucha paciencia. Yeah? So you can use a phrase like that just to make sure that people are staying connected to their breath and connected to whatever they're focused on at the time. Seguimos el ritmo de nuestra respiración. There it is. Si la mente se ha desviado, volvemos a observar y a sentir. Seguimos practicando en silencio. So there it is. That's just a very, very basic mindfulness meditation there. Yeah. And it, just like we were looking at the templates for the body scan meditation, the idea is here that you can expand on this and kind of put in there whatever content that you might like to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Andrew, in Latin America, do they do a lot of separate meditations, or is it usually just a shorter one part of the practice? Like, do you ever have classes that are just meditation?
There are organizations that only teach meditation here, but they don't tend to be yoga studios. They tend to be more sort of like religious organizations. So you do find like Tibetan meditation groups kind of scattered, you know, that kind of thing, where their main focus is teaching meditation techniques. In studios, I would say, yeah, maybe they would do like a meditation course sometimes, but they wouldn't tend to hold sort of meditation classes in the studio per se. I would love to, but again, it's just a question of how much interest there is in that kind of thing. Because unfortunately, it has to be a business decision as well sometimes. Not always. Sometimes if you're really passionate about it, you can say, this is going to be a donation class. Anyone who turns up is welcome. So yeah, it depends on your priorities as well. All right.
Andrew, do you ever have any issues with the religious issue or religion, people misinterpreting yoga, thinking it's kind of anti-Christian?
I mean, people can have that conception sometimes. I mean, Colombia is a very Catholic country. Some people are very religious here, and they have the idea that any sort of quote unquote pagan practices are going to send them to hell. So yes, that can be an issue, not for people who are coming to my studio, because they, generally speaking, if you've already turned up at yoga studio, you're already like comfortable with the idea that you might be doing these other practices. But what to say? I know that some people would avoid yoga studios on religious grounds. And there are some yoga studios that are quite religious in and around Colombia. There's a lot of Hare Krishnas here, for example. Surprisingly, I didn't expect to find Hare Krishna groups so active here, but they are. And there are Shivananda groups as well, for example. But in Flying Tree, we tend to make things very kind of, it's spiritual, but not religious. None of us talk about worshipping Hindu gods or anything like that.
That's what I would like to achieve, is I'd like to be able to communicate spiritual, but not religious. And I've gone to the other extreme of saying, solo es una clase de estiramiento, es ejercicio, no se trata nada de la religión, but I don't want to leave the spirituality out of it. I want to try to figure out a way to educate people so they feel comfortable that this isn't anti-Catholicism, which a lot of my families are Catholic,
I
but
imagine.
it still can be spiritual without being religious. So that's been kind of a challenge with some of our Latin American families.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, yoga is a series of techniques that can be attached really to any philosophy. So you can be Christian and practice yoga with no problem, or you can be Hindu or Muslim or whatever else and practice yoga techniques. I think at the end of the day you've got to explain, sí, son prácticas que pueden ser espirituales, pero no son religiosos. No vamos a orar a ningún dios, o sea, yo no voy a estar hablando de los dioses hindúes y no voy a intentar a convertirte a otra religión, o sea, vamos a practicar técnicas para bienestar física y mental. And that's maybe a nice way to put it, to practice techniques connected with physical and mental well-being. And I think if you talk about bienestar, most people will probably not have a problem with that.
Okay, I like that. I'm writing that down. Thank you. Thank you, Catherine, for bearing with that. Because that's...
No, I think it's important to know.
Great. Okay. So there are many forms of meditation out there, and Andrea does some lovely ones as well. They're based on like the image of a lotus flower, and she has other ones where it's another very, very simple one with inhaling and exhaling different qualities. So I think we did look at this during the previous language course. But again, you can just add into that list there whatever qualities are associated with the practice that you're doing that day. Yeah? Okay. Great. So in terms of just some useful language, I thought we'd take a little bit of a closer look at some of the language that was in the handout there, just so that you have the full use of that vocabulary. So I think most of them are pretty straightforward. So la práctica meditativa is your meditation practice. You've got words for la mente, your mind, atención, your attention. What's la plena atención? Does anybody remember that?
Mindfulness.
Yes, mindfulness. So plena just means complete. So plena atención is like sort of complete attention or mindfulness. Good. Your respiración, your breath, ritmo, rhythm, latido, beating. And then you've got those words, tu concentración y tu atención. Yeah? Oh, so we've already got that. Let me take that out. Now, you can talk about tus reacciones. Yeah? So, notamos todas las reacciones en nuestra mente. Okay? So you remember when we were doing the body scan meditation, we talked about possible things that can happen in people's mind. So they can react with surprise or boredom or anger or frustration. So you can, of course, always tell people to, hey, just acknowledge, yeah, the reactions that are taking place within you. Notamos las reacciones dentro de nosotros. Yeah? Si sentimos... What's that, sorry, Glenn?
We say acknowledge them and let them go, because that's what my yoga teachers say in English. And I do like that.
You don't always need to let them go, though. Sometimes it can be useful just to kind of sit with them, funnily enough. You know, if you're having lots of issues, sometimes it's good just to kind of sit them and not to try and... The problem with letting go is some people can try and push them away, right? Because the idea is that they don't want to have this feeling of frustration and boredom within them. But it's kind of difficult to get rid of those. It's kind of difficult just to let them go sometimes. So sometimes it's good just to look that in the eye and recognize, hey, there's boredom, and that's okay. And just sit with it. And sooner or later, boredom will also go away of its own accord. You know, and the same with frustration, and the same with joy. They're all temporal. They're all temporary. They all come and go. Okay.
Is that how you say temporary?
Temporal. Yeah.
That confuses me because it's also season.
Yeah, las estaciones, what's the other word for season?
Temporal.
And everything is temporary is one of the things they teach you in the training.
I missed the last thing.
Temporada.
Will you say it again, Catherine?
Oh, I said one of the big takeaways from yoga teacher training for me was this belief that like everything is temporary. And so it's like why you fixate on anything for too long because everything's always changing. And that's one of the things that they really teach you through the scriptures and whatnot. So my yoga friends and I will say that to each other sometimes, like, remember, everything's temporary.
Yeah, that's nice. That is a nice thing to remember.
Have you ever done a Vipassana meditation, Catherine?
I don't think so. What's that one?
So it's the mindfulness group. They have centers in pretty much every country in the world. It's free. And you get their 10-day silent meditation retreats.
Oh, no, I've never done that.
Yeah, they're awesome. Like, you should definitely have a go with that. And that will teach you the idea that everything's temporary, because you have to sit for 10 to 11 hours a day without moving. And everything comes and everything goes. And it's hellish and it's wonderful and it's frustrating and it's just everything in successively. And you get the guy, he's passed away now, but they still use recordings of him, called Goenka, who was the founder. And he always comes out with the phrase anicca, 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 which is temporary, temporary. So you're always hearing this in the meditation. And it helps sometimes, but it doesn't help other times when you've got lower back pain and you're bored out of your mind and you've heard the same thought going on and around in a loop now for about 3.5 hours. And yeah, but then these moments of bliss sort of come through, and these moments when you step outside after a meditation, there's this sort of electric clarity in the air. And it's really worth it. I highly recommend it.
I did one day in my yoga teacher training. We did 1 day silence.
Yeah.
But we kind of cheated because, like, I was like journaling. Like, I was just not talking. I wasn't really sitting. But I give people a lot of credit. I'm sure it would be really powerful.
Well, it is, because there's no stimuli at all practically during the week. You can't read, you can't write, you can't speak, you can't watch anything. You're literally either meditating or you're sleeping or you're eating, and that's it. And so after about 3 or 4 days, your mind does just slow down, like in a way that probably it hasn't done for very many years. And that's when you begin to see kind of much deeper within yourself to all of what they call samskara, these habit patterns that we've formed over the course of a lifetime. But anyway, it's highly worth doing. I recommend it.
Now I have time.
You do, but the question is if any of the meditation centers will open up.
I know.
Soon.
You can't do that virtually. Like, that's the whole thing.
Cool. All right.
Correction. It's temporada.
Exactly. Yeah. So temporal with an L is provisional or temporary, and temporada is a season. Yeah. So notas tus reacciones y recuerda, todo es temporal. Yeah, todo es impermanente. You can talk about impermanencia, right? Impermanencia. Let me just pop that down in our handout as well.
Yeah, I love that. It's a simple reminder.
Impermanencia temporal. Good. Okay. You might have these difficult things that happen as well. So pensamientos, thoughts, comentarios. And I think the word comentario is good for a kind of a judgment, because un un juicio, pasar juicio is kind of a little bit strong sometimes. Like pasar juicio is to kind of act like a judge almost. It's to kind of, it's to judge, but it feels very strong. Whereas a lot of the time, what's going on in our head is literally just a kind of a commentary, right? It's kind of us saying, well, that's not very good. I'm pretty rubbish at meditation. That's more of un comentario negativo. Yeah? Now, if you do work with chakras, una chakra is a chakra, un punto energético, an energy point, una rueda de energía, an energy wheel. They sometimes talk about those as well, right? Good. Okay, moving on to the other side here. Let's see if there's anything else that's useful. Oh, apego y desapego. Attachment and detachment, yeah? So, vamos a notar los apegos que tenemos en este momento. Apegos a sentirnos cómodos en cada momento. Apegos a sentirnos bien, yeah? Y vamos a practicar el desapego. We're going to practice detachment. Oh, there you go. You've got another one. There's los juicios and los prejuicios. So those are judgments, but they're kind of a little bit stronger than a comentario is a juicio. Good. These are qualities more of the body. Suavidad and ligereza, softness or lightness. Firmeza, firmness or strength. Pesadez, heaviness. Pulsación, pulsing. Cosquilleo, tickling. Hormigueo, tingling. And here you go. Energía estancada, bloqueada, o atascada. So that's energy that's stuck, stagnant, or blocked.
That's the atascada. That's, what did I say the other day where you told me it was a pipe?
Yeah, so atascada is generally something that, I mean, that's a pretty serious blockage. Like atascada is, I think that's the difference, isn't it? That estancada is stagnant. It means that something's just not moving. Whereas atascada means that there's like a strong kind of blockage in there.
Atascada. Okay. Is there another word that starts with an A that means kind of stuck or blocked? So there it is. It's
Estancada. That's more stagnant, like a stagnant pool.
Okay.
So that doesn't move.
Because I'm always running it. If you're stuck in the mud, what would you use? Atascada?
No. Stuck in the mud. Atrapado, probably.
Oh no.
That's a good question.
Atrapado. Okay.
Atrapado en el barro. Okay. So what I wanted to do to finish off was to share with you this nice little text that I've got for a relaxing meditation. Okay, so this is a meditation that's to do on the back. You can also do it in Shavasana if you want to. So I'll just read through it and we can look at any vocabulary together. Okay? So, tomamos este tiempo para nosotros mismos. Este descanso interior de paz y sosiego. What does the word sosiego mean?
I think of it as, Catherine, would you like to guess?
Yeah, I have no idea.
It has to do with like a calmness, but you already have calm.
Yeah, it means like a calmness, a peace, or a tranquility. Yeah.
So would you call that tranquil? Would you translate it for tranquil?
So sosiego in this context is tranquility. It's a noun. Yeah.
Because I read that word a lot.
Yeah, sosiego. It's a nice word, no? It's very kind of evocative, I think.
Yeah, I like it too.
Acomodamos el cuerpo en la colchoneta. And I really like that as well. Get comfy. Get your body comfy on the mat. Acomodar. Estiramos las piernas hacia cada lado. Rotamos los hombros hacia atrás y abajo, conectando los omóplatos. Cerramos los ojos. Sin intervenir, sin juzgar. Solamente descansamos y soltamos toda la tensión del cuerpo. So there's your little phrase that you can use if you want to get people to avoid jumping in, judging, reacting. That's a nice way to say it. Realizamos 2 o 3 respiraciones profundas. Yeah, so you can use the verb realizar with the word respiración. So to take a breath, tomamos una respiración o realizar una respiración. Inhalamos por las fosas nasales y soltamos el aire por la boca. Repetimos 2 o 3 veces sin prisa. Dejamos que este momento nos inunde de calma. What is an inundación?
A flood.
A flood. So inundar, yes, inundar is to flood, and then that's subjunctive because it's coming after the phrase dejamos que. So dejar que, what does dejar que mean?
Dejar que is allow.
Yeah, to allow or permit that this moment floods us with calm. So allow this moment to flood us with calm. Here's another nice little phrase. Escuchamos el ir y el venir de la respiración, the coming and going of the breath. Yeah? Sucediendo de forma espontánea a través de las fosas nasales. So, sucediendo, happening, de forma espontánea, spontaneously, through your nostrils. Visualizamos el océano en nuestra mente e imaginamos las olas del mar. So visualize the ocean in our mind and imagine the waves. Así como se mueve el mar, respiramos lento y profundo. So just as the sea moves, let's breathe slowly and deeply. Notamos la suavidad y el ritmo lento del aire entrando y saliendo. So notice the softness and the slow rhythm of the air coming and going. So a lot of this meditation is just focused on the breath, and it's just saying in 50 different ways, watch your breath, basically. Ooh, what does it mean if you say, es que yo me siento súper flojo hoy? Flojo.
Well, I think of flojo as lazy, but I think in this context, it means like relax, let your muscles just relax.
Yeah, flojo can mean lazy, it can mean without energy, it can mean just kind of like a wet noodle, basically, yeah? So aflojar in this context means to loosen, or maybe relax as well. So loosen the muscles in your body. Dejamos que se ablande y que se amolde a donde está. So ablandir means to soften. Algo que está muy blando is something that's very soft. Yeah? Ay, es que mi abuela, ella solamente puede comer comida blanda. My grandmother can only eat like soft food. Porque ya perdió todos sus dientes. She already lost all her teeth. Okay. So the other phrase, que se amolde a donde está, amoldar, means to mold itself. So allow your body to mold itself to where it is. So again, it's just a nice way of saying, relax your body in the mat.
Andrew, can you translate that sentence that starts with sin?
Yeah. So relax all of the muscles in your body. Allow the body to soften and to mold itself to where it is.
Oh, sorry. I meant the second paragraph.
Sin intervenir?
Yeah.
Yeah. Without intervening, without judgment, let's rest and release all of the tension in the body.
I'm glad you brought that up, Catherine, because I'm a little confused with using intervenir, without intervention.
It means just kind of jumping in. I mean, we always have this idea when we're meditating that we need to fix things, right? Oh, I got distracted. Oh, I need to fix that. Oh, I'm thinking about such and such. I need to fix that. Oh, I'm thinking about plans. I need to fix those. And I think it's really important when you are meditating to accept that thinking doesn't fix anything, which is a really, really, really valuable life lesson sometimes. And so I think that's what Sin Intervenir is trying to get at there, is like, don't step in, just be. Yeah. Okay, on to the next slide. Observamos las sensaciones del cuerpo. Yeah, so observe the feelings in your body, el movimiento del abdomen al respirar. What does it mean when they're using the verb, the word al with an infinitive here?
Like, while you're breathing?
What,
Sorry,
Catherine?
Oh, I said, like, does that mean like the movement of your stomach as you're breathing? Is that like?
Exactly. So in English, we would use the word as you're breathing, al respirar.
So not upon.
Upon, yeah. So,
Or as, or both.
al levantarme, me encanta tomarme un café. So on getting up, or when I get up, I love to have a coffee.
Okay. Me too.
Not very yogic, but never mind. It's hard not to have that habit here in Colombia, where the coffee is so delicious.
I would never not have coffee. Catherine, I like how you pointed out as though, because as works too for this, right, Andrew?
Yeah,
as.
definitely, exactly. As you breathe.
It's nice to have that option, because I always think of it as upon, and sometimes upon doesn't work.
Exactly.
So now I have the as option, thanks to you, Catherine. Thank you.
Good. Observamos el contacto del cuerpo con la colchoneta y reposamos completamente el cuerpo aquí. So there, reposar has an object. What's the object for reposar?
El cuerpo?
El cuerpo, yeah. So reposar means to, again, rest. Yeah.
Tumbar.
Sorry?
It's not tumbar, my favorite
Tumbar.
word.
No. Tumbar is, yeah.
To throw yourself back.
That's the image that I have in mind, yeah. So, soltando cualquier carga. Una carga. ¿Qué es una carga? I probably translate that in English as the word like burden. Yeah, una carga is like a burden. In this context, anyway. It's closely connected etymologically with encargar, like to charge someone with doing something. Or ¿quién es el encargado aquí? Who's in charge? Yeah. So it's connected with the idea of like responsibilities or things that kind of sit on your shoulders, right? Kind of being an adult, basically. So soltamos cualquier carga. Just let go of all of these responsibilities and burdens. Okay. Si lo deseamos, llevamos una mano al corazón para conectar con el centro. Y así, con el calor de la mano, llevar energía de paz sanadora al corazón. That's a lovely little phrase. Si lo deseamos, if we want to, if we desire it, llevamos una mano al corazón, bring a hand to the heart, para conectar con el centro, to connect yourself with your center, y así con el calor de la mano, llevar energía de paz sanadora al corazón. So, with the heat of the hand to bring healing, the healing energy of peace, or the energy of healing peace to the heart. Okay, to finish. Sentimos cómo nuestro corazón se inunda de paz. So there you've got your verb for to flood, again, inundar. imaginamos que el sonido del aire pronuncia la palabra paz al inspirar y al expirar. So instead of saying inhalar y exhalar, you can also say inspirar and expirar to breathe in and breathe out. So we're saying here, imagine that the sound of the air pronounces the word peace with the in-breath and with the out-breath. Incluso, repetimos mentalmente, si lo deseamos, paz al inspirar y paz al expirar. Incluso means kind of even, or how else might you translate incluso?
I've always thought it was a cognate and it meant including.
So here I think I would translate the whole sentence as we can even repeat in our mind, if we want, peace on breathing in and peace on breathing out. So incluso kind of has the idea of like even. It's giving like a further kind of detail, a further option.
You know what's interesting? I noticed in Andrea's meditations too, she really focuses on positive emotions, like always inhale something positive, exhale something positive, where I feel like in the US or in a lot of classes, we talk about inhaling something positive, exhaling something negative. And
True.
I just wondered, is that sort of cultural that you just don't really talk a lot about the negative?
That's Andrea, let's say. Andrea
Okay.
is she's very much like that. She talks about, I mean, for Andrea, yoga is something extraordinarily positive, and it's kind of associated with sort of all of the positive experiences, but it's not that way for everyone, I think. And other people, I mean, myself included, when I meditate, I also want to deal with the difficult stuff that's unpleasant and can be seen as negative. So anyway, horses for courses. Okay. Descansamos. Nos dejamos llevar por este instante. What does that mean, nos dejamos llevar? What does llevar mean, Catherine?
To carry, right?
To take away. Yeah, to take away. And Diane, what does nos dejamos mean?
We allow ourselves to.
Yeah, so let's allow ourselves to be carried away for this moment, por este instante. Saboreamos la paz interior. That's a really nice one as well. Savor your inner peace. Nos expandimos en esta paz sin límites. Let's expand ourselves within this peace without limit. So there you go. That's a really lovely, reasonably simple meditation. The nice thing about meditation is everyone's eyes are closed and you can literally just kind of read it off your notes if you want. And it can allow you to be a little bit more poetic than you might normally manage with your regular Spanish. So.
Did you write this, Andrew?
I did not. I edited it. So I found a really nice meditation online, and I mean, I changed quite a few bits of it, but a lot of those kind of really juicy phrases are not mine, unfortunately. One day I'll be able to speak that poetically in Spanish, but today's not that day.
It's really lovely.
It is. Yeah. Great. So I think you have a few options there. You have that very simple mindfulness meditation. You have those options for inhaling and exhaling different qualities. You have a more complete meditative language there. You've got your body scans as well. And now you've got a relaxing meditation to finish it off. Okay. So what are we going to do for next time? I would like you to work on something new for homework. And I think at this stage, I'd really like just to kind of leave it up to you as to what you would like to work on. Whether you decide that you want to teach something related to meditation, for example, or whether you decide that I want to do more sort of asana-related stuff, or have another go at pranayama, or maybe a body scan meditation. I don't mind. just bring something to class for next time, and hopefully something new that you're going to produce over the weekend. All right.
I have 2 questions for you, Andrew. First, do you think that we could spend some time in the next 2 classes talking a little bit more about language for transitions?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's still a place where I feel pretty awkward.
So here's what I'm going to request for you. I would like you to send me at least a day before, so by Monday at some point, doesn't matter when, but just at some point on Monday, some examples of transition language in English that you would use, that
Sure.
you would kind of like to figure out how to use in Spanish. Yeah?
Sure.
But I actually have a presentation. I don't know if by any chance you have seen this presentation. Let me just share it with you. Did you see this presentation on simplifying transitions?
It's a familiar,
For this.
we have that. I've printed that.
Yeah.
I know the one with the eagle arms, the one with the one guy 9. I don't remember the piece, but maybe we have it.
No,
Well, we can
that
have
one,
a little further look at it next time as well.
but the one before that, maybe not,
Yeah, I
Catherine.
don't think we have slide 8.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure though.
So we can have a little bit more of a look at that next time. Yeah. Okay. What was your other question?
Oh, my other question was just wondering if there's any opportunities that you know of for us to practice teaching. Like, are there communities that you know of that might be interested in some free classes or willing to give us feedback? I mean, I don't want to you don't have to use your brand at the studio, obviously, since we're not really proficient in this yet. But if you knew of any places, I think it would just be fun to start trying to practice.
So, I mean, that's a big question as to the whole tourism thing right now. I think that, I mean, generally speaking, if you travel in Latin America, they're always looking for teachers, especially who can teach bilingually. That's really useful to them, especially if you find like hotels and retreats and resorts. They're quite often very open to the idea of giving you accommodation, like room and board in exchange for teaching yoga classes. You're not necessarily going to get feedback from, I mean, you might be able to ask some of your students, hey, come and give me feedback after I'm done, but you're not likely to get very extensive feedback. People will just say, well, that was lovely, thank you very much. If you are looking specifically for like comprehensive language feedback, then you might consider doing an internship in Flying Tree, because we do host people in the internship whose main aim is to teach in Spanish, and who teach a couple times a week in Spanish in the Spanish classes, and who get language feedback from Andrea, from Kelly, and who are kind of working on their language more than anything else. So that would be the other option.
That's awesome. Do you know of anything, I mean, because clearly travel, who knows what's going to happen, but if there are any virtual opportunities that you think, or I was thinking in San Francisco, there's a large Spanish-speaking population. I'm sure I could go to a couple of nonprofits and say, can I teach virtual yoga or something? But
I think my recommendation would be just to reach out to some of your local communities and see if they might be interested. I mean, especially if there are community associations for Latina, how do you say it, Latinx people? I think that's the nomenclature that you use out there.
It's our newest term in the US, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that would probably be your best option. As I say, most of the tourism industry is just totally closed down here at the moment. I mean, there's nobody in the hotel. So most places here in Colombia are not looking for Spanish-speaking teachers right now. So yeah, I think get in touch, and it doesn't need to necessarily just be San Francisco. I mean, given that it's online, you could probably write to people across the entire of the United States and see who's
Someone's down to say yes. Yeah. I guess
so. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. All right, team.
How long is your internship? How long
The
do people?
internship is a month. Yeah, 4 weeks.
I want to do that in 2 years. Catherine, come with me in 2 years.
I'm always down. I'm looking for a way to get out of the country.
Plan on it. 2 years from now. Virus over, flying going strong.
Well, if
Love it.
international flights have opened up again, we would like to host an internship program before the end of the year. So if you still find yourself with not much to do, you might want to consider. And I sometimes am looking for assistant managers as well, which might be a slightly more long-term option if you're considering, if you want to move out for 3 months or more. So that's something that we can stay in touch about as well. My current assistant manager will be heading off at some point when lockdown ends. So if you are interested in doing that, we can talk about that privately. I can tell you a little bit more about the role, whatever that's going to be during the rest of the year. But we definitely need an assistant manager for later on in 2020 out here in Philantry.
That's amazing. Well, thank you. All right, Diane, we're in. We're committing.
Calendar. How much is an internship, Andrew? I better ask that. Yikes.
The internship is with accommodation, $999 US.
I'm totally doing this. You need to stay open, Andrew.
Yes, we're trying. We're trying our best.
This is what I get to do this because I would never be, that would be like a miracle and something I'm really going to push if I got to go somewhere for a month.
Yeah, please.
All my responsibilities of grandchildren and mother, so.
Yeah,
But,
awesome.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Day.
All right. Have a lovely weekend, everybody, and I will see you all next week.
Can I ask you one more question, Andrew, because
Please.
you know me and my nonstop questions.
Go ahead.
So is there any possibility of using, somehow retro counting the hours that I've already put in toward a 200-hour in Spanish, or would that not be legal somehow?
So 200 hours. So you're thinking about joining the teacher training program with us?
No.
And using, or what were you trying to say?
We talked a little bit about having a training in Spanish, maybe for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have to find out if I can afford that because I might, but is it 200 hours of time on the computer, or is some of that 200 hours, because I do a lot of yoga.
Yeah. So to be a little bit more clear about this, so with the 200-hour training, and Andrea and I were speaking about this afternoon, part of it is asana practice. So I imagine you've already done quite a lot of asana practice, sort of following along the videos online. So you've already done like quite a large number of hours there. The total is something like, I think it's 30 something hours of the 200 at the asana practice part. A part of it will be reading up on pre-prepared materials, which you can do in your own time, basically. And then another part of it will be meeting in person and actually discussing what you've been reading, discussing what you've been looking at. So the total number of hours actually sort of in person on the computer is, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not 200 hours, and it wouldn't be 200 hours. It would be considerably less than that. Yeah. Because
I feel like if I'm doing this much, maybe we could look at that, and I don't know what price would be. Andrea is going to tell me next week if they're offering a training from another studio she works at online.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I would, if I could, I mean, I'd really like to work it out with Flying Tree.
Yeah.
If it's something I can afford, because I've already worked so much with you, and I would like to keep working with you. So yeah. I don't know what I guess I just don't know what about it would cost.
Yeah.
If we were to count some of the stuff that I already have done,
Yeah, I'm sure we could. I'm sure we could find a price that would be affordable to you. What I would need to do with Andrea is sit down and work out, which we're going to be doing early next week, as to what structure and format we're going to be using for the new teacher training online. The idea that we're working with is we don't want to do 200 hours sitting in front of the computer camera, because we don't think that's necessarily very useful. So what we want to do is explore options to make a little bit more flexibility in the practice. Obviously, we still have to go through a lot of the other, things like pranayama, things like meditation, and so on and so forth. But because we've obviously done together, some meditation in Spanish, obviously it would be less extensive. But I think Andrea and I, as I say, we'd need to sit down and consider exactly how that would look, and then I can give you a more concrete answer.
Okay, because if that could work out, I would really like that if it's something I can afford, because I really feel like I need live in-person training also.
Mm-hmm.
If I could get a yoga certification within the next couple months, then at least I'd have my certification, and I would feel like I could offer, well, I don't know. You're going to tell me when I'm ready for that. But I'd like to be able to offer classes to the families of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to have a certification before I do that.
That's very wise. Very responsible.
I'm really worried about the reality of being able to do an in-person class, finishing it next year. Maybe some of it will do, but I really think that class will probably go 2 years, because and I really do want to come to Flying Tree and do an internship.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to do that. I want to make that a priority. I can't do it for 2 years, but I should be able to.
Hopefully, as I say, we'll be here. But yeah, as I say, let me have a chat with Andrea next Monday, and then we can maybe have a conversation on Tuesday at some point and chat through things a little bit more.
But the problem is I wouldn't be able to spend more than like $1,000 on it. And maybe you can tell me right now if that's way too cheap and not even a
might be a little bit challenging now. So here's the thing. We will be offering a teacher training for under $1,000. But obviously it will be mainly, it'll be in English, because we have to have other people joining us at that stage. Because obviously $1,000, we can't pay teachers with that amount. So we would need to, by all means, join our English language teacher training and do the asana practice part in Spanish. And you definitely be able to enjoy it for that price. But for something that's private, where we're making the program for you, and it would be in Spanish, that obviously would be a bit of a higher price.
Okay, well, I want to know what it would be when you know, because I want to look at everything and try to make a decision about what the right thing to do is without knowing what the future is like.
Yeah.
So, and I understand that. I understand what you're saying. I was just hoping that if we counted some of the work I've already done,
mm-hmm.
that would possibly reduce the contact time and the work for you two, and somehow make it maybe something I could afford. But I don't know about it.
But there would still be a considerable amount of material to work through, because do you have the syllabus? I think I sent you the syllabus of the teacher training. So have a little look at that, because we're still working very closely with that syllabus. And we need to make sure that we're covering all of the different aspects that you'll find outlined there. So although we've done lots of bits and pieces of studying in Spanish, we need to look comprehensively, step by step, according to, what we've basically got in our teacher training structured plan.
Okay, well, that seems totally reasonable, and I don't know about these things. So just tell me what you think, and I'll try to make make a decision based on the options that are out there and
For sure.
And- what happens. So
Okay.
regardless, one way or another, I still want to keep working through July. If it's
Yeah.
not formal teacher training, just our work together, what we're doing
Perfect.
isn't sequencing. So, okay, thank you, Andrew, very much.
My pleasure, Diane. I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.